Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another round of the MRL, and it is going to be probably one of the greatest races of the season because we are in Austria for another iconic Grand Prix. And joining me, Gauzy Egg, how you feeling?
Feeling great. I'm excited for the race tonight. It's going to be a banger.
Austria.
We saw exciting race in the America's Tier 2 and in Tier 1 earlier today.
It never fails to disappoint. 10 turns, 4.3 kilometers. It's a very fast circuit, 3 DRS straights. And, well, it's a circuit that everybody enjoys, a circuit that pretty well everybody loves that I've seen. And it's a circuit where you can get a lot of racing in, a lot of overtaking, switchback opportunities. It's going to be a fight to the bitter end here around the Red Bull Ring. Of course, this is the 11th round of the season. My, what a season it's been. We have France coming ahead next week. Following that, Belgium, the Netherlands, China, Japan, as well as Abu Dhabi for the penultimate round. And then the grand finale for the season, the 18th round, which will be in Brazil. And I cannot wait for that as well. It's going to be a very long road to get there, however. Albeit on round 11, we still have much racing ahead of us. Rhapsody, 144 points, still in charge at the top of the standings. Maxim B, his teammate, there with 112. Mercedes off to a commanding lead of this division. Does Williams have any mathematical way back into this? Well, it's going to be a few more rounds yet before that, I think, comes into play, but it's cutting close. Now, with that said, Graz in the Ferrari third position. It is Mercedes, Williams, Ferrari, your top three in the constructors. Gab is in fourth, Gabix G in fifth on the standings tower with Disco in sixth. It's Bo Mateo seventh, Casquito Benitez eighth, Martin Sanchez in ninth, and Miu Miu in 10th. Man, it's tight in that top 10 area of the standings. You can look down through from 7th position, 36 points, through to Wadapatowski in 11th. You have 24 points. Things are going to tighten up. Everybody wants to get as many points as they can every single race, and we'll just have to see who turns out come into the top 10 today. Gauzy, man, oh man, Austria. We've seen so many races here. I used to joke with Unicorn. It is probably the circuit I have commentated the most since beginning commentating F1 races online in F1 2019. We did, I think, 8 in a row at one point. It was wild. So definitely a fun race around here, and I cannot wait to see everybody get into action for qualifying as well.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go. Everyone's readying up now. We'll get into the action very shortly.
18 minutes of qualifying race before the race here, and then it's going to be a 36 lap campaign. There's always that roll of the dice on weather. If anyone's tuned into broadcasts of the MRL before where I have talked about rain, I absolutely love rain when it comes to maybe a dynamic race.
Yes.
Dry and
They
wet.
say my lobbies are cursed to always have rain.
I'd agree with that based on some of the races we saw last year.
No, it's dry for quali, at least.
Well, happens here in the qualifying. As you mentioned, there is going to be no rain in this qualifying, but potentially in the race, as Waffalorian has indicated, but we'll see. We'll see. Of course, 18 minutes. Looking at the grid today, I see some familiar names, and I'll take you through them. In the McLaren, we have Gabizm, and on the grid, lining up on the timing tower behind him, it is Miu Miu. In the Alpine, we have Maxim B in the Mercedes, currently second in the championship. There you go. In the Alfa Romeo, On the timing tower in fourth, we have Klinsman behind him in the Haas. Fluffy Dave in the partnering McLaren. As we have a car heading out on track now, I do believe that is Johnny Disco. We'll go to him in a moment. But of course, combined YouTuber, the Australian, in 7th position for Aston Martin. Jamie Lawrence in the partnering Haas this evening, of course. And it's Sales in the Ferrari with Cal in the Alpha Tauri. We have Jacob in the partnering Alpine, as well as Meaty in the partnering Aston Martin. And then it's the pair of Red Bulls, Sidewinder 303 and Cody Lawrence, the reserve extraordinaire. Good to see him getting a race in. I know he's very busy with schooling at the minute. Johnny Disco as well, a very, very fast driver. Currently looking to do some damage in that Williams. Just not the kind of damage we are accustomed to seeing from our good man Henners. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hope you like that. Graz in the Ferrari, 16th. And we have Guac in 17th, the Alfa Romeo. The Rhapsody leading this championship on an outlap in the medium compound tires.
Actually, Striff.
It is going to be Johnny Disco beginning his run here.
Cody Lawrence is leading this championship, Striff.
Well, you have the full-time standings, and then you have the de facto super statistical standings where everybody kind of hunts down all of the little minute details. And if you are aware, or if you aren't aware, we'll say, Cody Lawrence is not a full-time driver. He is very much a reserve this season, and with that, he has a tally, I do believe, ahead of Rhapsody, putting him theoretically in charge of the championship. But when push comes to shove, when push comes to shove, at the end of the day, if Rhapsody finishes first in the full-time drivers, he is the champion.
I think it's the driver who has the most points at the end, Striff.
Well, Ghazi, he's not technically in the championship. We'll just have to agree to disagree here. As Johnny Disco now comes through across the line. First position, provisionally a 103.858.
I agree with Waffle. In the chat, he says Cody's getting a full-time seat for the final round.
More times coming across the board now, 103.9 from the Rhapsody on the mediums. Gabism now.
Gabism actually reserved. He reserved earlier today in Tier 1 strip. The first car to DNF from the race.
Mew Mew with the provisional pull now, 103.564 Ghazi.
Yeah, that's about the bankers that we saw in Tier 1 earlier.
Ruben. Good man, Ruben. For those unfamiliar, Ruben, a longtime racer in the MRL. It was during the introduction of our European division, our first ever European division in Season 3, where Ruben Mock in a Ferrari claimed victory around Monaco, the South African driver. And he'll be in the Williams today. Currently at 104.733.
He's now full-time in the Williams strip. He's back after a long hiatus.
Great to see him come back to the fold and get in some league action, especially on a full-time basis, as you mentioned. Bale's on the way into the pit lane. I thought he might get something across, but he opted to come in right now. Combined YouTuber in the Aston Martin. He's on the move. Pushing down into turn 4.
Oh, there's an AlphaTauri spun around in turn 3.
Check in on the Alpha Tower. That appears to be Cal. Back on to, of course...
No, I think it's Galbox. Oh. Yeah, it was Galbox that spun around. Box. I think he won the race last week, or yeah, no, he was on the podium, P2. Ziffy won last week.
On YouTuber.
Last week
Invalidated run there.
We didn't see any Mercedes driver on the podium last week. Wonder if they'll be back this weekend.
Jacob, 103.806, putting the other Alpine onto the front row provisionally. And as you mentioned, no Mercedes last week on the podium. They're going to be wanting to get themselves back into podium rhythm.
Back to their normal positions. Jacob taking over full time in the Alpine, going to be putting his car, throwing his teammate at the front of the row.
Not too many racers on active flyers right now. See, something that we've been accustomed to all season for Cody Lawrence's reserve appearances are these chain soft runs in the qualifying session where he just gets his laps in. Raz beginning a run on the medium compound tire. Johnny Disco doing the same. I do not believe we have had any official weather report. Gabism pulled off into turn 4.
It's going to be a dry race strip.
Well, that's something that a lot of the drivers are going to breathe a sigh of relief to. Raz around 10 now into the run up to turn 1, and he will go a 105.5 on the medium compound tire. Could just be chaining some practice runs here.
A lot of drivers yet to set a lap strip. Already 8 minutes gone in this session.
Diego on the run, moving through in the Alfa Romeo, trying to do everything he can to get a lap time on the board. As you mentioned, not many racers with times on the board. However, you have quite a good amount of time in qualifying in comparison to lap time to get a lap across in at Dago. 103.642. Nicely done from him into the front row provisionally. Sidewinder follows him up P5. It's a 3.8.
Lots of action on the track right now.
Mew Mew. 103.239 now. Provisional pole position for the Alpine driver. Ruben blows the lap coming through the penultimate turn. Jamie Lawrence now in the Haas. Pushing now out of 10. Across 13th as he is now at 104.548. Very tight to the rear of Ruben. Only 4 milliseconds separate the pair. Klinsman pushing through now into turns 9 and 10. Looking to get a time on the board. This is where we've seen people invalidate, and there we have it. He did. tricky when you have that invalidation there. Sometimes it will cancel your lap ahead of you. In this situation, it appears to have done so for Klinsmann.
Bunch of drivers on laps right now.
Bill's pushing up through turn 3. Yellow flag being waved. And there is a car off into turn 4. That's Gabizim driving slowly. Or maybe another racer just trying to kind of get out of the way as Sales blows by the Aston Martin of Meaty.
Yeah, everyone's being really polite to each other, getting out of the way.
Fluffy Dave with a potential connection issue as he's noted to leave the session. We can get him back in.
Jacob had a big step of oversteer and messed up his lap. Might be pushing again for a second lap.
Sales into P4. 103.802, 4 milliseconds ahead of Jacob, as you said. Actually on the move.
Honey disco invalidated.
Jacob finding improvement through sector 1 of 7 thousandths.
Rhapsody's invalidated. Every driver I switch to has a red track strip.
Jacob pushing through
Maxine's
sector
on
2.
a valid lap. Maxime improves by half a tenth in sector 1. He needs to find a lot more time.
Comes Jacob tight to the curb through into turn 10. Coming across the line now. Jacob in the Alpine will run into third, a 103.694. That is the third lap that he has chained on this set of tires. Don't know what advantage that will be.
Here comes Maxime through the final 2 corners. Turn through 210 now.
Five.
He gained 4 tenths.
It's a 103.709. He actually goes on point with Meaty. And they duplicate one another's times here in the qualifying session. Meaty now on an out lap.
Honey Disco coming up to the sector 2 line. He might be coming in.
He may be out of fuel, no battery. I think he's done. And I'm
Rhapsody.
gonna move on over to
Rhapsody. He might just had a purple sector through sector 2. This could be provisional pulse drift. Very quick through the final 2 corners.
very tight, throwing the exit curbing. He comes through second quickest here. It's a 3.480. Not quick enough to do anything about Mew Mew. Ruben notably went quicker on his medium compound tires than his softs.
It's a bit strange doing softs and then medium second.
That's just how they do it where he's from.
Here, Meaty's on a lap.
As is Galax G, but he's unfortunately invalidated. He will begin again. On the Aston Martin of Meaty.
Meaty's a strong qualifier.
He needs to find some improvement here. Tied with Maxim. 5th position presently. He goes 4th. And hops Jacob
There's not that many corners around this track strip. There's not a lot of places you can gain time. You have to be pretty much perfect.
Gabism right now in the McLaren pushing through the double left of Sector 2. Navigating through into the final sector now, the final couple of turns. Minute and a half remaining. Gabism, a 3.610 now. Third position provisionally for him, and things are still really ramping up here. Cody Lawrence did 11 laps on a soft compound tire. We'll see if he actually gets anything done. Combined YouTuber is on the move, yet to set a time in the session. The Aston Martin has some work to do, and Klinsmann has presently invalidated, and he will look to perhaps get set and go again with a very limited amount of time remaining in the session.
Sales on the Ferrari coming through the final two corners on the medium tires. Oh, and he doesn't improve. Just 300s down.
Walk on the move right now. We're going to move on to combined YouTuber. Try and get a look in to see what kind of lap he can produce in this Aston Martin. He needs to get something on the board to be competitive in this race, Austria. It is a very seriously competitive race, as you can see from the qualifying times. A good majority of the drivers tied in that top 10. Combined through the final turn now. He had to lift a little bit there, trying not to, I think, overextend too much. He goes 10th quickest. It's a 3.804. Walk holding improvement right now.
Raz, the other Ferrari, just set a purple sector. We had a big moment.
Careful not to invalidate on the exit curbing of 9. Coming through to the line, it's 6th.
Just behind Dago.
Johnny Disco right now looking to do some work here in the Williams, coming through for the final time in this qualifying session. Where does he land himself? It's third. It's a 3.520, and he is in there to do some serious work against the Mercedes team here in this race, as Williams trails them in the constructors.
Miu Miu with fully centered through the final corner and went off track. This will be our starting grid.
Just wrapping up now. I think Guac might have something to say. He will bump himself into 14th position. Miu Miu, Rhapsody, and Johnny Disco. It is Alpine, Mercedes, and Williams starting the top 3 in this race. And what a qualifying it was here. The separation on the grid, 1 second all the way to 17th position. It is half a second through to 10th. And I'm very excited to see how that plays in with all of the DRS straights here in Austria. Let us know what you're thinking in the chat. Do you think we're going to find ourselves with some safety cars? Do you think we're going to have some big drama?
Let's get a prediction going if Miu Miu will win this race from pole.
There we have it. Miu Miu in the Alpine, a 103.239. 2.5 tenths nearly ahead of Rhapsody. Rhapsody currently leading the championship officially in the Mercedes, and he will hail from Brazil, of course, followed closely by his longtime rival, Mr. Johnny Disco, in the Williams. It was a 103.520 from him, and that is your top 3 ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix for this America's Tier 1 division of the MRL. If you look through the rest of the grid, of course, Gab is in 4th, Maxim 5th, Dago 6th, Graz 7th, Median 8th, Jacob in 9th, and Sales to round out the top 10. We'll go down through the rest of this grid on the formation lap. Some overcast weather here. It almost looks like there's a light mist drawing over the track, but I know better, and I don't believe that is the case, as we can see some dry compound tires appearing ahead of us in the pit lane and in the garage for Williams. Of course, you can see Mr. Ruben there and his South African flag as he hails from there, and of course Johnny Disco starting in the top 3 in the Williams. Ruben will be looking to get on pace with his teammate, as Ghazi mentioned. Ruben now full-time over there, so best of luck to Ruben. He is a veteran.
Taking over for the distinguished driver, the Sredok.
Formation lap now. Of course, we told you about the top 10, but just to make sure everyone's aware, it is Mr. Mew Mew starting this race from pole position in the Alpine. Rhapsody in second, lining up on the front row next to him in the Mercedes. Johnny Disco starts third in the Williams. Gab in fourth in the McLaren. We have, of course, Maxim B in fifth. Dago in sixth for Alfa Romeo. Graz in the Ferrari, seventh. Meaty in eighth in the Aston Martin. Jacob in ninth. Sales in 10th, and he will start this race on the medium compound tires. Come on, YouTuber on the soft, Sidewinder on the mediums. We have Gabux G on the mediums as well in 13th position. Guak behind him with Cal, both on the softs. Ruben down through with Fluffy Dave, Jamie Lawrence, Klinsman, and Cody Lawrence, not related to Jamie, all on the mediums. Now, that said, it's all about, of course, taking your opportunities when they come, keeping things tight, keeping things close, not losing the train here in Austria. And the train is going to be led by this man, Mr. Mew Mew. Followed closely by the championship leader, Rhapsody, and of course, Johnny Disco. We'll see how things pan out now as we come through the final turn to get set on this grid for the 11th round of Season 6. Very exciting stuff.
They're forming up to the grid now. Should be a one-stop race.
You never know in these situations. Safety cars can come through. You never know what may happen. Race start is about to tell us exactly how this one is going to go. Of course, on the grid now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name's Stryfium. Joining me is Ghazi Egg. It is the Red Bull Ring. And I'm quite stoked for this race, I have to say. But of course, the engines are revving now, and it's time for the lights to come on. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here around the Red Bull Ring. It is the Austrian Grand Prix, and we are away. Everybody getting off relatively well. Johnny Disco looking already at his rival Rhapsody, tight on the inside right now, has to withdraw. There's big issues in the midfield at the rear, and turn 1 is an absolute scene of debris, ladies and gentlemen.
A McLaren got sandwiched in between two cars that had nowhere to go. But getting away with from it clean is Mew Mew, Disco, Rhapsody, and Sales goes all the way from P10 to P4.
Unbelievable scenes at the start of this race in turn 1 right now, but I'll tell you one thing, Disco got ahead of Rhapsody right now. Fluffy Dave and Ruben with an exchange. Ruben with a big lunge coming up the inside of turn 4, trying to keep things really honest with his McLaren rival.
Cabot's another big mover.
Right now, Meaty, I think he's got big issues. Oh, he's just lost a massive amount of position here. No visible damage on the front wing, but he lost 4 positions already.
There's lots of fighting back here. A lot of cars have damage going into the box to fix it.
Yeah, a lot of racers got caught up in that turn 1 incident, and I imagine there's going to be quite a few drivers with safety car on their mind as we have a yellow flag up through Sector 3. The VSC has been deployed, and Maxime, now things are going to slow down.
And Dago.
VSC really neutralizes the race. That is the entire objective, just to slow things down, get everybody kind of maybe calm and alert as to what's going on, as there's been a bunch of problems on this opening lap of the race. It is 36 laps of racing here.
It's a long race.
Sales making up 6 positions. Sidewinder up 6 positions. It's Gabux up 5. Jamie Lawrence, the biggest mover, up 9 positions from where he began this campaign.
This is good for Mew Mew. If he can make a good jump on this restart when it goes green, he could maybe stay out of DRS range even.
DRS absolutely critical here in Austria right now. VSC is going to be coming offline any moment. 6 drivers to stop. Guak down through to Klinsmann, 15th through 20th.
A long VSC.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. It's almost been an entire lap for this VSC. Here we go. There's a drive-through. Sales has taken it, and that is not what you want to see if you're a fan of the Ferrari.
After making up all those positions at the start, he has to go through the pit lane at the pit speed.
That is absolutely horrendous. You have a near perfect start to this race, a clear-cut start. You get up 6 positions, the drive-through comes down, and the momentum that you built up is just snatched away from you as his teammate Graz looking to be under threat right now from the medium runner of Gabux G.
Gabux having a monster start to the race. He and Jamie Lawrence, one of the biggest movers, up 9 positions. A lot of drivers capitalized on the big crashes at the start because they were at the back and they could just avoid it.
Sidewinder looking at Gabizim nearly going into the rear. He actually has a touch of a lockup on the front end. Fast lap, extending rapidly here as it's the first full lap after the VSC. Jamie Lawrence combined YouTuber wheel-to-wheel out of 4 right now. Jamie Lawrence still holding on to that 9th position. The Australian has something to say about it. He's looking around the outside, snatching back that inside line, just trying to come through on that apex. And now combined, still on the hunt here.
That was almost a dangerous amount of curb taken.
Quite a few drivers right now looking to maybe have a go. Johnny Disco.
Johnny Disco, yes, he's right behind the race leader of Mew Mew.
He's locked in. He's looking for it. He actually drops it. He wants it into 4. He wants it into 4. He needs to get a really good exit here through turn 3. A Sidewinder and Gabizim have an exchange, and Jamie and combined through turn 3. Combined into 9th. Johnny Disco didn't get it into 4th.
And Gabizim had to let the Red Bull go. We saw a lot of driving too wide through these corners in the race earlier. Oh, Sidewinder's around. The Red Bull has just spun and he's getting passed by everyone. That is very sad.
Sales is around. What's gone from bad has gone to... Oh, this is just bad news for Sales.
Oh, and Meaty's already being lapped. Johnny Disco taking advantage of the lapped car to go sailing past Mew Mew. Guak about to be lapped as well. Must be...
Gabux Gabizim right now, wheel to wheel, coming out of turn 3. Gabux, 5th position. Graz in 4th. Tight lineup right now, and it always is here in Austria. Mew Mew is going to be fighting Johnny Disco in a moment, no doubt.
And they have Rhapsody looming behind them. ready to pounce on this.
Rhapsody, a solid contender for this entire season so far. Surely not going to let this opportunity slip away.
Yeah, he wants this win, Striff. It's been a while since he's been in victory lane, and he's been saving his ERS.
Victory lane.
Oh, well, yeah, this is not NASCAR.
You're too North American, Ghazi.
Ready? This is the America's tier, so it's okay. Oh, here comes Mew Mew. Oh, he's too far back. Big gap forming from the top 3 to P4 right now. Gabox making past the Ferrari. And combined YouTuber also looking at Gabazon.
Mew Mew, Johnny Disco with an exchange through turn 4 right now. Mew Mew in the lead of the race once again.
It's a great battle between these two.
Linsman picks up 3 seconds. Him and Cal now are in the same club.
Reserve drivers on penalties. And you can very easily get penalties around this track. The track limits are not forgiving at all. Johnny Disco with a huge amount of speed behind Mew Mew.
He's going to have an opportunity here with the DRS to take a position, take leadership of this race once again from Mew Mew. He thinks better of it coming through into turn 3. Rhapsody closing in as well with the DRS. Jamie Lawrence right now and combined YouTuber. They've been battling for some time. It is going to be Jamie Lawrence on the medium rubber. Back through ahead of the Australian.
What a race from Jamie. Combined YouTuber bouncing around a bit behind him. A bit of lag. Jamie watching the McLaren ahead, making mistakes.
These medium compound tires going to be coming in quite well against the softs fairly soon here, if not already. Johnny Disco with a run now on Mew Mew. Mew Mew holding things on that inside line with the run up to turn 3. Johnny Disco clear and well ahead of him. Now Rhapsody, well, what does the Brazilian have in the tank?
There was a bit of lag or something, but Jamie Lawrence hit the back of Gabizon. I don't know if there's damage. And I think Combine got into it as well. Oh, another big crash. And Jamie Lawrence is around. Combine YouTuber and him come together.
That is not what you want to see happen to Jamie Lawrence after a stellar opening to this race.
Yeah, he's trying to get his car recovered now. It's sad to see the battle end that way. Meanwhile, at the front, Rhapsody is closing in on Mew Mew and Johnny Disco. Johnny Disco got back into the lead of the race.
Rhapsody with an absolute monster exit out of turn 1, looking for Mew Mew. He's looking for the inside. It's too dangerous, and he thinks better of it as Mew Mew.
He went outside,
with a bit of movement there.
There was nowhere to go.
I think he was nervous about the Alpine in that situation. He didn't know whether Mew Mew was going to pull the trigger on Johnny or not.
He was ready though for if that was going to happen. And Striff, you like to say Rhapsody definitely has the popcorn right now.
Well, he's watching them fight. He's waiting for an opportunity. He wants to, wait for that open window. Sidewinder right now, trying to make an open window for himself. He looks through the inside now as we come through the double left of Sector 2. It's mediums versus mediums right now. Sidewinder getting it done as Gabism and Gabux G pushing through now 4 and 5. It is Graz into the pit lane. And he will be one of the first drivers to get off of the softs here.
Similar battle of like this top 3 happened earlier in Tier 1 with Neon, Jeffrey, and Nola for the end of the race.
Mew Mew back in front of Johnny Disco. Johnny Disco pushing with the battery right now.
Rhapsody, we're going for it.
Look on the inside now, Rhapsody, very deep, so tight to the rear of that Alpine. He's still got Johnny there. Wheel to wheel now coming through turn 5. It's Johnny back on the inside. Rhapsody's still pushing for this second position. They're opening so much time up for this Mew Mew character in first. They need to be careful. They really need to be careful here. If Rhapsody pushes Johnny too much, they will lose the leader.
They do not want to lose the leader. Mew Mew will be gone.
Gabba's him into the pits now. First 2 drivers to pit, if I'm not mistaken, were combined. Following that, we saw Graz for the official pit stops. Now Gabba's him.
Johnny Disco. Oh, he doesn't get as good an exit as Mew Mew did. But he still might go for it at the DRS.
Tight battles on track right now. Graz looking for Sidewinder, and he's actually going to pull the trigger and get it done. Fresh rubber for Graz.
Has snuck into P4, the lead medium runner.
Jacob picks up 3 seconds. Big question is, when do we see these top 3 come in? And I guarantee you they all come in one after one another. I'd be shocked to see anyone try to pull off an overcut here. Mew Mew, Johnny Disco, they're coming in, and as I say it, Rhapsody says, I'm going to push the whole way.
Rhapsody going for the overcut, I think it's called. Gonna push hard. It's hammer time for the Mercedes driver. We have an issue for Sidewinder, I think. Yeah, he spun out of the last corner. Looks like his front wing is intact.
Jamie Lawrence and Graz. Graz pushing now ahead of Jamie on the fresh mediums. Johnny Disco and Mew Mew, half a second the separation between the pair that were once leading this race, and they are provisionally still leading this race. Rhapsody now surely on the way into the pit lane here. The Brazilian racer with a big snap, a big spin, and that's damage on the front end.
Yeah, he's going to have to change his front wing, and that's going to cost him a lot of time in this pit lane. The Mercedes crew running out. They were not even ready for him. And Cody Lawrence cycles into the lead of this race. Are you surprised by that, Striff?
Not particularly at the moment. But again, he's not leading it on stops. Gabbox G right now, giving him a little bit of a jam to work around.
Beatty's out of this race.
What has happened to the Aston Martin? That's an Aston Martin outside of turn 3, and that's a safety car, ladies and gentlemen, on the 14th lap of racing here in Austria.
When Cody's in the lead of the race, the safety car comes out at the perfect time. The safety car merchant again. And Rhapsody in 14th place now.
This has been a wild race. A lot of action, a lot of overtaking, a little bit of drama, a little bit of slips and spills. We saw Rhapsody lose his wing a moment ago. Come into the pit lane, and he stayed out. He went for an overcut. It ultimately really hurt him. We have Gabbox G coming in now. Cody Lawrence is going to assume lead of this race. If not, I do believe it's going to be Johnny Disco and Mew Mew. Mew Mew is separated by Cody Lawrence.
I don't think for long, Striff. Miu showed a lot of pace in the early stints. But Cody Lawrence on the soft tires. Cody's going to try to go long on those soft tires. He's going to have to conserve near the end of the stint. Gablox also has softs. And Grass cycles into P5. Ruben in a very good spot, P8 on the soft tires.
Last lap 105.774 coming out of Cody Lawrence's end of the race. We have not too many two-stoppers. We got Guac on a three-stop, unfortunately. Penalties. Let's take a quick look. Of course, Cal 9 seconds. You have Jacob with 3, Sidewinder with 3, and Klinsman with 3. Position changes. Cody Lawrence up 18 from where he began this race at the rear end of the grid. Fluffy Dave, the next biggest winner here, as he moves up 11 slots in this race.
Jamie Lawrence just dived into the pit lane. He's going to go mediums, I think. So Disco now, not only does he have Miu behind him, Striff, he also has Cody Lawrence on soft tires.
It's a very interesting race dynamic we find ourselves with here, with the medium runners and soft runners here with such a stint to the end, and it makes you wonder whether or not these softs are going to hold the pace required to keep up with the medium runners they're kind of entangled with here. If you look at it from all the way down to 9th, it is literally medium, soft, medium, soft, medium, soft, medium, soft, medium. And it's just cool to see such a strategy dynamic in the top 10.
Yeah, it's like every other driver's on opposite tires. See that? And we're going in this lap.
Trying to get some temperature into these tires here. It's a lot
Let's see in
more
the
difficult
chat.
for the harder tires.
Let's see in the chat thoughts on who will win this race.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get some thoughts, you know?
Yeah, let's see some thoughts in the chat.
Johnny Disco off and away. Cody Lawrence looking to get things done as quickly as he can with the rubber. Well, he's got it. And it's going to be 3/10 the gap through turn 1 right now as we come down through the field. Everything relatively clean so far. Dago tight to the rear of Sales. So tight, in fact, he picked up 3 seconds for it.
Cody looking alongside Johnny Disco, side drafting.
Hold the phone, Dago with a big lunge up the inside right now. He's very deep. He gets alongside the Alpine of Jacob. What an exit coming out of him. Really taking advantage right now. He's got Rhapsody in his sights. Dago, hello? This could be... Oh my god, he gets 3 inside of 2 turns.
Rhapsody has to play it safe. He's got the championship on the line. Has to let Dago and Jacob go. And Sales getting redemption now for having the drive-thru earlier. He might make a move on Rhapsody.
Yeah, Sales on that soft rubber right now. Back in
Sidewinder
it.
behind him.
Well, penalty for Sales not helping his situation. The drive-through earlier, now 3 seconds. It really hasn't been a day for him, but if he can get this move done on the Brazilian, a lunge on the inside into 3. Rhapsody.
And a bit of a tap from the Red Bull makes him lose traction and lets Rhapsody stay ahead.
They go on the inside of Maxim B through turn 4, looking for 10th. He gets it. Maxim B doesn't want to let it go.
And we have a spinner. Klinsman is around.
Johnny Disco holding station in lead of things right now, but DRS is about to fire up, and Cody Lawrence is in prime position to do something with it.
And Mew Mew's going to want to follow him. The penalties are flying in now. It's going so fast that it's just flat.
Let's take a look now. Johnny Disco with Cody Lawrence. You can see DRS fired up on the rear wing now for the Red Bull. Mew Mew in the rear end of that Red Bull as well. Cody Lawrence is going to have a surefire shot into turn 4.
Who's going to have the best traction?
Jacob looking for the inside of Maxim B. He gets his toes in. Maxim B gives him the space. A little bit of a snap coming out of him, and it's Johnny and Cody.
Is in the lead of his race.
Wow. Cody Lawrence on the softs now. He needs to push a gap. He needs to lose these guys.
Yeah, I think Cody's going to use his soft tires now. Push really hard and lose the DRS. And then he's got to go to conserving mode.
Maxim B with a serious thorn in his side named Jacob.
These two are battling every week, it seems. Johnny Disco not giving up. He's right behind Cody.
Same with Jacob
He's
on
going to need to
Maxim.
have the best exits of his life.
Jacob a touch tighter right now. We're going to jump with the Johnny. He's looking for Cody. Does he... Oof, I thought for sure.
Jacob and Maxime side by side. Not even at the braking zone yet. If only we had side 2 cameras to watch both
Sales. Rhapsody, wheel to wheel on the exit out of turn 4, or excuse me, turn 3 into turn 4 right now as Combine and Dago exchange for P9.
Dale's fighting with Rhapsody still. Rhapsody all the way down in P13. While his championship leader, his not official championship leader, the contender, is leading this race drift. Depends how you look at it.
I already know we see it differently. Johnny on the inside now coming up into turn 3. A nice, neat move there from Johnny. Cody being patient, I imagine, not fighting too hard with the sauce, but he is going to look back at the... Oof. He just jumped off the gas. He just jumped off the gas.
Mew Mew watching this, like, what's happening? Yeah, I think you definitely cannot cut out the Alpine driver's drift. He's gonna be right there. We have someone spun.
That is Rubino, and that is not what you want to see coming
He's
from
tumbled
him.
down to the last position.
Gabism under threat. Dago looking to push once again for a position. He's just sitting on the rear of that McLaren. Very dangerous coming into a hard braking zone like turn 1. Or not necessarily a hard braking zone, but at the very least, a turn where you can rear end the absolute daylights of
Mew
somebody.
Mew side by side with Cody Lawrence through turn 3. It's not going to be long, though, those softs. Oh! Cody dives to the right to defend the inside line.
It's a very powerful line that inside, but right now Mew Mew showing that the medium compound grip really paying dividends. A bit of a tap coming out of Mew Mew with Cody Lawrence. Not clear as to why.
There wasn't that much space left for the Red Bull driver. Oh, we have Gabox around! He went on the curb and he completely spun the AlphaTauri around. But he recovered quickly. So...
yeah, not quick enough. Dropping now to 13th position.
And that's good for Graz and Fluffy Dave.
Cody Lawrence right now not going to be too thrilled about the exchange with Mew Mew and that Alpine. We'll see what he has to say about it as the softs potentially beginning to degrade here. Sales picks up 5 seconds on his way into the pit lane. So we have seen the Ferrari driver have one heck of a roller coaster race today.
Sales?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been up and down the order. It's been a crazy day for the Ferrari, and it's stressful for us Ferrari fans. Graz looking strong though in P4 right now.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue
He's
with
leading.
that.
He's leading the second train.
Mew Mew, Cody Lawrence right now following the leader of this race, Mr. Johnny Disco. Cody Lawrence with DRS on the rear of Mew Mew, tire differential between the pair.
Oh, one of the Mercedes has spun. It's Maxime tumbling down the order. He's in the grass doing donut drift.
That is not what you want to see. Ooh, a
He
big
spins
snap.
again. Oh, Maxime is in serious trouble.
Jamie Lawrence looking for the inside of Galaxy right now. Big lunge coming out of him. Will he get the the Red Bull 2? Sidewinder. Yes. Yes, he will. And he gets 2 for the price of 1 there. Very neatly done from Jamie Lawrence.
Yeah, it's not looking like that good day for Mercedes. But Rafsy is recovered into the points right now. You see how many more positions he can get. And look at Mew Mew. He's fighting Disco driving very defensively. Disco trying to break the slipstream.
So many tight battles unfolding on the circuit. You really don't know which one to
Graz
jump on
and
to.
Fluffy Dave. Graz making it past. It looks like the medium tires are stronger than the softs. True.
Well, I think it was a big gamble to jump on the softs. Cody Lawrence right now using his softs to try and put some pressure on these front runners.
Like we saw in the first stint that they boxed at like 10, 11 laps. But those were qualifying tires. So let's say they have like 14, 15 laps on them. They had to do 20 more, at least 20 on these softs.
Cal retiring into the pit lane, I do believe. We have Dago currently on the hunt for 5th position, and he's been pushing quite a few positions in this race. And we have a Red Bull around. That's Sidewinder. Gabazin picks up 3 seconds. Mew Mew out of turn 1, looking for Johnny. Doesn't quite have a decent exit there at all, and it's Cody Lawrence who might be looking to pick up the pieces from that poor exit.
Yeah, Johnny just was struggling. Fluffy Dave and is side by side with Dago. They both got it past Graz. Graz setting it on the McLaren.
Both McLarens now engaged in battle. As you see, Gabazin pushing past Dave, and the mediums really sparking some life here.
Dago, the big winner of that exchange.
Absolutely. He's now leading a 6-car train. Meanwhile, Cody Lawrence on the 10-lap-old softs, following ahead with Mew Mew and Johnny Disco. We got the better exit right now. Mew Mew or Cody? Cody, most definitely. Mew Mew is under threat here. He looks to the inside. Cody looks for the outside. He moved twice there. He goes for Johnny Disco. This is a really, really sketchy battle, I have to say so. From the perspective we're seeing with Cody Lawrence right now, he isn't trying to take any risks. I mean, he is, but he doesn't want to get killed doing it.
Johnny Disco was blocking Mew Mew's defense a bit. So Mew Mew had to do avoiding action. Mew Mew not doing everything he can to keep this position.
It's been a great race, though. A really great race. Johnny, half a second ahead of Mew Mew.
Luck has spun.
Up 28 out of 36, ladies and gentlemen. Mew Mew pushing Johnny here with the DRS. See Johnny Disco right now pretty dry on that battery. Cody Lawrence in a different position.
Mew Mew still has 90%.
Mew Mew really not utilizing much of that battery at all. Cody Lawrence with a wave off to the inside there.
Mew Mew must be biding his time. Johnny Disco pushing hard to stay ahead.
Problem with him biding his time is Cody Lawrence is right there.
It's a good point.
And the longer these guys are being held up, you can see Dago rapidly approaching this front group. And once he hitches that train, well, it's tough to unhitch it once that DRS is in a...
Here comes Cody.
Well, Mew Mew looking at Johnny. He's going
Cody
for it.
Both of them.
Nearly 3 wide there. Right now, it is Mew Mew in first. Cody second. Johnny in third, losing out there. He needs to get the benefit of some DRS for a while.
He went into the corner P1. He comes out P3.
Well, it's a tough pill to swallow, but that is what it is when you're dry on the battery. You just don't have a lot of ability in that power unit to fight back against a driver like Mew Mew, who, as we saw, not expending a ton of battery.
This battle is not going to end until lap 36. There will be more squabbling over these positions. Johnny Disco not going to stay back for long. He's already using the battery.
I think Cody's having a run. Here we go. Cody Lawrence says hello to Mew Mew and says bye-bye. Cody Lawrence now back in the lead of this race. We've seen multiple leaders of this race.
Jacob and Gabazem.
First, second, third. Closely entangled right now. Dago, since I mentioned him.
This took 3 seconds with a horrible exit out of turn 1.
That is one of the worst things you can do in the position that he's in.
With only 6 laps to go. Cody going very defensive. Wonder how long Cody's tires can last.
Well, I've seen him do very lengthy stints on tires before. The question is their competitive ability.
Mew Mew.
Looking for the inside. Ooh, very, very interesting. I thought he was going to go into the rear of Cody there.
Yeah, me too.
I was almost positive. Very good job from him to break it down.
I think Disco's got to get past these guys. He's gonna, because he has that 3 seconds.
Oh, Johnny! That's a huge spin! That's Dago! Oh my god! That's a huge crash here on lap 32. Are we going to see a safety car after that? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, listen, when you keep going. And look at the McLarens, they will take those positions.
That was huge.
Mew Mew going for it on Cody Lawrence. He's going to take the lead of this race. Nothing Cody could do about that.
That was a massive hit coming out of Dago. And a very poor end to his race, I have to say, after a stellar drive.
Yeah, I hope he's not upset about that.
I'd say it's pretty difficult not to be upset about that. But
Rhapsody,
you go ask him later, Guzzy.
Rhapsody comes into P6 now. He overtook a lot of cars. Somehow. No, he was in P10 last time I checked. Mew Mew just took up 3 seconds.
That
looks like it's maybe Cody's win.
Is unbelievably massive for Cody Lawrence right now, and Graz as well.
All the racing incidents like that with Dago happen sometimes, Josh. Kind of out of your control sometimes.
Yeah, I know, you're the specialist on them. Gabizem and Graz right now wheel to wheel. It's third for Gabizem. He has a 3-second time penalty.
Will Cody take one of the penalties to join them?
We're about to jump through into the penultimate lap of this race, where our race leader has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Cody Lawrence on the soft compound tires, trying to stay within 3 seconds to claim a race win.
Oh, Graz making the move on Gabizem.
Lap after lap exchanges, it would seem, is the end of the race for these two. Rhapsody closing in on Dave.
He might get a podium, Rhapsody. He's got no penalties.
Big lunge around the outside of Dave right now here through turn 4. Dave trying to hold things with the soft compound tires. A little bit of a tap on the front left there. Rhapsody gets 5th. Johnny Disco runs the fastest lap of the race on the fresh softs, ensuring that he neutralizes that point in the potential case that a Mercedes picks it up, I suppose. Now the final lap of the race, 1.1 seconds, and dropping just a bit to Gabizem for Rhapsody.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Mew Mew. It looks like he's going to win this race on track. But the penalty will make him lose some positions.
Such an epic battle between Mew Mew, Johnny Disco, and Cody Lawrence here at the front of the grid today. Of course, we saw Johnny with that snap and spin through Sector 2. pretty well, removing him from the top 10 and retiring Dago from this race. Mew Mew now through the penultimate turn, now into the final turn. The Alpine Racer, as you mentioned, Ghazi, it will be Mew Mew to take it on track, but Cody Lawrence closely following will take the win here as Mew Mew with the penalty. Graz will cross third on track. Rhapsody gets him by just shy of 7/10, and it will be Rhapsody claiming a podium after all. A very hard race for him and a very hard-earned podium for him as well. Graz, a good race. Fluffy Dave in 5th, Combined in 6th, Gabism 7th, Jacob in 8th. Jamie Lawrence will finish 9th. Sales coming across the line will drop massively as Maxim B will pick up a fringe point for the team at the tail end of the points finishers here in 10th position. So it's a double points finish for the Mercedes squad. And the predictions for those that predicted that Mew Mew would not take the win, congratulations on your Twitch prediction winnings. See a familiar name taking the most out of that one. And it was just a great race. I'm really excited about how that one went. We saw so much overtaking. I mean, Austria never fails to provide.
Yeah, there was a ton of action. It was a very exciting race from start to finish.
Cody Lawrence once again with the win. He did the last to first challenge. It was the 3 seconds that burned Mew Mew in the end, and it was Rhapsody started this race in second and had multiple hurdles to work his way through, and he still came back to claim a podium. Congratulations to him. Graz in 4th, Fluffy Dave in 5th, Combined in 6th, Gabism 7th, Jacob in 8th, Jamie in 9th, and Maxim B rounding out the top 10 for our points finishers here. Ruben actually came through with a 104.9 to take the fastest lap of the race. Of course, no point will be awarded, but he'll be thrilled knowing that he was still out there having a good time despite not getting himself into points today, and I'm sure he'll be fighting to get back into them as soon as he can. But that is going to be it, Ghazi, for us and for the America's Tier 1 broadcast. Man, what a race it was.
Yeah, what a race, and we'll be back next week from the French circuit, France.
That's right. French Grand Prix, Circuit Paul Ricard. Going to be a very, very interesting race, I'm sure. It always is through around Le Castellet. And, well, with that, I hope everybody enjoyed our week of racing around Austria. As Ghazi said, we had some great races through the other divisions this week, and this one was no exception. Phenomenal. We saw some great wheel-to-wheel action today. Of course, any last messages from you, Ghazi, before we wrap things up for the evening?
Have a great night, everyone, and thanks to all the support in the chat. Really appreciate it during the race. Makes it exciting. That's it.
To answer Carter's question, there will not be any interviews tonight, of course, but we will see you next week for some more America's action. We got Tier 2 and Tier 1 next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. It is France. And with that said, bid you adieu and farewell for now. Ciao, everybody. Have a great night.